if you do not know, this show is broadcast live every Monday at 6 p.m. on 6 p.m. Pacific Standard Time on Twitch. Links are down below. Great GM on Twitch. You can join us live for chats, conversations, and to see the disasters that happen due to technological failure on my behalf. If you have joined us on YouTube, I do welcome you to the show. Remind you to hit that like button, hit the subscribe button, and that all-important goblin button so that you can be reminded of new shows as they come out. Now we cast our minds to the scene where we had Flint, Floreria, and Warrin. You had just exited from the sewer exit of Tungay Keep. That massive insectoid-like bug had ejected that ball of plasma and fire against the side of the castle, and you had been urged by the Duke to seek out the Temple of Elysiae and to try and get word to Feldun that the siege is on. What are the three of you doing?
Walking!
I think I would fall back towards Flint to give some space between Warren and I. And I would be like, look, I got to Warren, the old one, in time. This time he had an eye patch and he yelled out, "Don't trust the trade," and then detonated himself, basically. So I didn't have time to save him, but he was different from when we first got here. So I don't know if it continues changing every time we jump, or this pattern that we put in will always lead back to this eye patch Warren. I don't want to worry the kid. I don't know. Okay. So we'll figure it out, Warren, okay? It was very old. You have many years for us to figure out what happened and save you.
Listen, no, I just don't know what you're talking about.
It seems to me like this is some kind of strange phenome, as they call it in the gnome cities. Sometimes things might be different, like in the case of Warren, but I tell you what, when we came back out of the portal and my gun done jammed straight away as soon as I took the exact same shot. Now, understand this. I've taken lots of pot shots, bottles at critters and creatures alike, and I've never made the same shot twice. Needless to say, I did that time, and there's something strange and unusual happening with these whole stone dealamajuggies. Clearly far more details than simply teleporting from one place to another. So,
well, we have 18 stones. We can do this mission, but do we want to try using another 6 in the same pattern and see if we jump back to the same moment with the same Warren to just rule that out as a possibility?
You see, while I'd be keen to kind of try that, you never know if something worse might happen. I mean, before, of course, that Warren had 2 eyes. We do it again, he's lost maybe a leg, maybe he's not even there in the first place. We can't guarantee that he's going to be in the same condition he is in now if there's clearly something changing in him every time we jump.
But that's what I'm saying. What if we do the exact same pattern and find out that we can guarantee at that moment, at that time, with that combination, we will always get back? It would give us the guarantee of at least a safe place or a knowledge of what is happening to come back to before we jump somewhere new.
Well, are you willing to whisk old Warren for that?
I don't know. Where are we going?
All right, listen. He's gonna walk straight into a crocodile's mouth if we don't stop him. This is a swamp, son. Don't wander off.
There are shamblers in swamps, boy.
Everything is gross.
Yeah.
Mud. This is gross.
I think more than the magic of all these stones and the whatever wibbly wobbly magic stuff happens to be going on, the most amazing thing so far is that kid managed to live as long as that old man.
But isn't it then a guarantee that even if we jump somewhere again and he dies as an old man, we can figure out how to save him while he's still this? We can find the answers to save him from that fate.
Look, I mean, if this thing teleports us and brings us back to that exact same point, then, I mean, anything we do right now clearly is going to at least be some progress. At least before we try, I think we should head to the that template place where they said all those other shifters come from.
No, I completely agree.
Yeah, if we can get some information there, then yeah, I reckon definitely we should give it a try. Maybe see if we can find some more information about it from that old Warrin. Find some consistency among what's happening here.
Well, he did warn, don't trust the Trabe. Does anyone know what a Trabe is?
I heard a guy say it when he died once. Trabe.
Well, Warren just did it. So...
Well, yeah.
Trabe, does that mean it...
Name.
Your last name's Trabe?
Trabus. TRBUS. We are on this super dangerous quest. Huzzah!
So don't trust you.
Uh,
Give me
Look,
a survival
Let's
check.
keep going forward.
Give me a survival check, please, Warren, as you are leading the charge into the swamps around Tungate Keep.
bet someone's gonna actually do something right.
Yeah, don't run us into a shambler, please.
You got it.
I stepped on its tail.
Yeah. So then I'm going to need Kai and Flint. Would you two please give me perception checks as Warren has started to make his way into the swamp? The swamp is a mixture of bulrushes, broken pools of brackish water, and
I rolled twice by accident. I
Yeah.
rolled a 22, and then I accidentally rolled again. I'm sorry.
we'll take the 22 because it's a nicer number. You
Thank
have
you.
been squelching your way forward, Warren, to a degree, and having done this myself, it does happen. You are now almost knee-deep in mud. Every step sinks sort of deeper, and you're sort of plodding forward as best you can. You step from one tuft of grass to the other, but it sort of still sinks in. You don't seem to have paid too much attention either, Flint. You haven't really been looking where he's been leading you. Floreria, you are the only one who realizes that you are heading out into a section of the marsh, which it looks like it's a rather cool pool. There aren't too many tufts of grass anywhere. There's no broken trees nearby. It is a rather clear and glassy plain that young Warren seems to have set his sights on. Way off in the distance, you can still see the dome, the broken dome of the Temple of Elysiae.
Guy.
Warren,
It's like I
Didn't
turn
they-
back to everybody and I'm just like, what's wrong, guys?
I think we might have gone off the path. They said there was a clear, solid path that would lead us through this place. But this... And I, lift my mucky foot. I'm like, this is a little grosser than I think we were supposed to be getting into. I think we need to double back and continue looking for the path.
Okay.
Is there, clear sinkholes so we don't have to navigate our way back?
Oh, excuse me.
Oh, excuse me, darling.
God,
We stumble across an old hermit.
There's an old hermit coughing his lungs out on the side, and he's sort of watching you all.
Turn to Warren. I'm like, this is why you don't smoke weed.
Yes, absolutely, the path's that way, he says, as he points. It's not too late, luckily, for you to turn back and start squelching roughly
I'm
in
gonna
the
give him
direction you were
a
going.
hit point. I'm gonna do lay on hands, 1 point, just boop. I hope you feel better, old man.
He sort of coughs at you. Leave me alone, I'm going to be a miserable hermit for a reason, he says as he sort of models. He bends down, he picks up some mud and sort of splats it on the side of his head. Got to keep up the appearances as he wanders off. So that's what you encounter out in the swamp.
That's a wise man. Camouflage is very important in these kinds of areas.
You hear
I am
something
not
about-
getting muddy.
Yeah.
I take some mud.
No! When I start running in case he goes for me. But I'm like.
It's not the fastest escape ever on record. No.
Flint attempts to keep up, but obviously being like this really tall thing made of pretty much solid steel, he's pretty much just like trying to find a good foothold, but struggling.
Just not succeeding.
Is that gonna get inside all your gears?
If I rust, I'm gonna give you my bill.
Can I make a path?
Make a path.
Like if I green flame blade the crap out of the ground, can I maybe
Get me out of here! Get me out of
No,
here!
no, 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 no! Wait! Don't do that.
Here we
A
go!
lot of marshes have gas in it. If you cast flame, this place could blow up.
I literally just straight up did it. I'm sorry.
All right, you flame on. Would you roll a d10 for me, Freddy? No modifiers, just roll a d10.
You got it. I
Do
did
not
the right
roll
thing.
a 1. A 3. Your flame ignites, and it does seem to have a very different color. There is the intrinsic color of your magic. What is the color of your magic, by the way?
It's golden.
There is gold definitely at the center, but around the edges of this is this sort of vile olive green that flares up. And as you pull back, you see the flame has done really nothing but to sort of slightly heat the mud. A giant bubble about 5 feet away from you rises out of the mud, builds, and then explodes with this rather flatulent sound. And this gas ball rises up into the air. It does smell as if rotten eggs has just washed over everything.
Oh,
What?
I think my hammer's broken. It's supposed to be gold.
no, sweetheart, no, that's just that's swamp gas.
I didn't
Oh
do
my
it.
god. You literally. I'm going to find the path.
All right, you
I'll give you a hand.
slog back to the path. In the distance, Tungay Keep burns, and you can see there's all kinds of exchanges of
Our
magic trying to
banners are
take
being
place
carried
as
far and wide,
there is a
Lord.
desperate attempt to save the castle. Cheers and shouts are coming up from all over the place. But the pathway to the temple is eventually discovered. It has been quite well trodden and is lined with abandoned wagons, wheelbarrows. You can see there's trunks and boxes that have been literally just dumped in the mud and abandoned and left behind. And the wagons, boxes, and trunks that you do come across as you're walking down this, it's a lot safer pathway. How Warrin missed it in the beginning, you're not entirely sure, because it's pretty well beaten pathway. There are actually even stones lining the sides of it. Anyway, he missed it. He didn't see it. We move on. We don't judge. The boxes and crates and wagons, they look as if someone has been through them all. So although they've just been dumped there, their lids have been ripped open, contents have been taken out. Yes, Flint?
Oh, I was going to say whether or not they've been looted, but yeah, you answered.
Yes, absolutely. It definitely looks as if they have been looted after the fact that they were dropped. Some of them have been smashed open, some have been dragged a little distance from where they were obviously originally dropped, opened up, and then left or cleaned out of their contents.
Can I make an investigation to find, like, if this place, like, there was a fight and then everyone else ran, or they abandoned everything here and then someone went through it? Like, I want to find, like, if there's, like, 1 or 2 bodies around, or if it's just no one here.
Sure. Give me an investigate check. It looks as if someone took a whole market and just threw it around randomly. The mud is so broken up, the you can't tell. You just can't tell. It does also stretch for about maybe 300 or 400 feet, where the stuff starts to just appear as if it was abandoned. The wagons and things, it's fairly obvious. The road, although it is fairly stable, the wagons got caught up in rocks and in mud and just couldn't progress any further. As to why the boxes and things were abandoned, you're not entirely sure. you continue to make your way along the road. Is that right?
Yeah.
All right.
I'll find
I've been doing
one of the
that.
smaller boxes, and I'll actually what I'll do is I'm going to hold two sides of the wooden box and have Flint put his foot and basically break apart one of the wooden slats. And I'm going to say, I got a quick idea. Might help us, might not. And I'm going to tie a couple of the slats to the bottom of my feet just to help with the surface area so that I'm not hopefully sinking as deep.
Nice. All right, so you're MacGyvering these sort of mud skis, if you like. It's an interesting idea. Are either of you two, Flint, Warrin or Floreria, going to capitalize on this idea?
Oh,
While he's
no,
making that, I'm gonna get up higher onto one of the carts to see if I can see anything else farther beyond and keep a lookout while they're doing that MacGyvering.
All right. Warrin, you're going to be doing what, sorry?
Oh, like the whole time they were looking around, I'm like, that's not the way. That's the way. Just kept going.
All right. Warren, as you are stepping forward saying, let's just keep going, it looks like there's a dead child in the middle of the road. You realize, however, no, wait, it's not a child. It's a doll that has been dropped and muddied and left behind. Quite a large doll, but big enough to at first kind of cause you to pause, perhaps.
I mean, Warren's not a very smart boy. He'd probably run up and immediately start just like, oh no!
And then
Like
you
trying
sort of
to do
see the straw and the painted face, and it doesn't look like it belonged to a very wealthy individual. It's just the straw stuffed old shirt and pants.
Oh. Okay.
Floreria, you are busy looking out whilst Flint is strapping his makeshift skis on. Give me a perception check, if you please.
Mm-hmm. Ooh, nice.
Lovely. So as you are busy watching out, looking for the road, or looking anywhere, I should imagine, you notice that there is definitely movement. It looks as if 4 or 5 clumps of bushes are making their way towards you. Very, very carefully, very, very quietly. And as you look down, you start to realize, oh, actually, it looks like it's 4 very well-armed men with camouflage on them, and they look as if they're making their way directly towards Warrin and Flint.
So I'm going to fire a warning shot between Warren and them and be like, I would just like announce like my presence. Like I would just stare at them like, don't you want to do that?
One of the clumps of foliage, which you can see is quite a brutish looking man, he raises his hands up and stands, revealing himself. Flint and Warren, you can now see him quite obviously. It's this muddied man. All right, no need to get violent. We just thought you were lost is all.
Oh my God,
We're scouts. Yeah, that's it. We're scouts, and we help people find their way to wherever it is that they're going. Yeah, that's what we do. Yeah. So, are you lost?
No, we are not, and I don't believe scouts would say, "Oh yeah, that's what we are."
Wow.
These boxes have been gone through already. I'm assuming you're scavengers, but we're not lost. We're making our way. Just don't give us any problems, and I won't give you any.
Yeah. I think that's a pretty good deal, then. Okay. He sort of takes his moss hat off, bows respectfully, and then, come on, lads, let's, we're backing up. Warren?
I would hop down and walk over to Warren, like, you okay?
I want to use my super power eyes on him. I just want to roll an insight.
Sure, give me an insight check.
Are you a bad swamp man or a good swamp man?
He is, from what you can gather, the kind of swamp man who is not very good. Probably the one who stole everything from these individuals and caused whatever child who lost its doll to have lost its doll. There's definitely an air of malice about this particular.
Where's the
character.
kid?
No, is that what you're shouting?
Yeah, I'm like looking straight at me, like, where's the kid?
They're all at the bloody temple. Like, yeah. And he's backing away slowly into the foliage. Flint?
Seeing this, Flint sort of steps up and places a hand on Warren's shoulder, seeing that Warren looks quite agitated towards him. And sort of shakes his head and says, if you really want to help that little girl, you bring her a doll. Oh boy, I don't judge. All you meat sacks look the same to me.
Do anything to those kids? Did you hurt them?
No,
Warren.
we didn't hurt nobody much.
Warren, these are scavengers. The kids are back at the temple, and we're running out of time, and so are the people in the castle. Instead of dealing with them, we should go and help everyone else.
They're not good. I don't think they're not good people. I can sense.
They're not
Bill's
good people.
watching you.
Look, let me make this clear. I had a friend of mine who ended up walking through this large forest, ended up getting attacked by a whole bunch of razor spittles. Now, everyone knows that when a razor spittle attacks, it attacks till it dies. What you don't do is you don't attack every single razor spittle you find, otherwise you end up getting swarmed and you get ripped to shreds. Now, if this is the fight you want to have, you want to make sure that the next fight you have ain't going to be your last. So you got to choose if this is going to be where you take your stand or whether or not you go be more useful somewhere else.
I never go into a fight thinking that I'm gonna die.
That's
That's
the trouble with youth. They always think they're immortal.
Because
That's
if I
it.
think too much about dying, then I probably will die.
That's true, but then again, if you
don't
fight
think about
if you fight every single battle that come your way, I guarantee you will.
That's how my family's always been. We protect.
I understand,
those
Warren.
protecting.
But there are people who are being literally killed by these giant bug creatures right now that need help. We can deal with these for doing bad things in the past, or we can save people in the future by moving forward.
I'm just watching them.
I know.
They are all skulking back as fast as they can into parts of the swamp. There's a scream from one of them as he stepped backwards into a deeper part of the lake and got that sudden surprise when water covers over your chest unexpectedly. But they have broken away. They do not look as if they're going to try and engage you at all.
I do fire out an Eldritch Blast, but at their feet. Just give them like this stern look, just like,
All right, we're going. That one turns tail and actually runs into the sort of clump of bushes and sort of scampers over it and disappears in amongst shrubbery.
just keep going towards the temple then.
All right. Your skis seem to help to a large degree, Flint, as you sort of walk your way forward. You arrive.
The rest of the night.
Yeah. You arrive eventually, the four of you, or the three of you anyway, arrive at this very ruined looking structure. It's an old wall that's crumbled and collapsed down, and I'm going to place you onto the map because you can hear screams of fear and panic coming from within the structure itself. Now, the Temple of Elysia is this large circular rotunda of a building with a great dome on top, but it obviously hasn't been used for quite some time. The walls have caved in and collapsed. There's rubble everywhere. Vines have grown over this space. You can see from where you are and I'm going to share it now with you. You can see that there is some tent or structures that have been set up, very temporary, along the road as it continues to the north, but the main structure itself is obviously obscured behind broken walls. Someone has put wooden boards up against the few windows that are not intact to try and barricade them inside. But you can hear this noise of a fight coming from within, and running out of the foliage around you, there are three very angry, very drunk-looking individuals who burst forward. They are brandishing. One has a very blunt-looking longsword. The other has a very nasty-looking cudgel, and the third one has, it looks as if he stole a rapier from someone, for that matter. And that is the scene that you see in front of you. These three individuals come rushing out. One of them, the one with the cudgel, steps forward and he says, "Give us all your money or we'll take your life." And we
I've
go to
had a
initiative.
bad day. I'm gonna crush your faces in.
Ooh.
Wow, okay, sure. Roll initiatives. There we go. That's where we find ourselves. The bandits are acting first. This is bandit number 1. He starts to rush forward. He doesn't look as if he's ready to engage yet. He's waiting to see if you guys are going to hand over the coins or not. Bandit number 2, he is the one with the cudgel. He steps forward menacingly. And bandit number 3, as I move down the track, bandit number 3 sort of takes up space next to some of this ruined wall next to you. Flint, what are you doing?
Flint is going to delay till after Warrin. He's going to basically... He knows that Warrin is definitely fixing for a fight, and he wants to support him rather than lead the charge.
There you go. So what are you going to do? You're running an action, basically. What are you going to do?
Yeah. So I'll raise up my my firearm and take aim at the one in the center.
The one with the cudgel, right?
Yep, the one with the cudgel. And when Warrin moves to attack, I will utilize my just a random shot to try and
Gotcha.
discourage that one from attacking.
All right. Floreria?
I'm going to take aim at the one with the rapier and shoot it with my longbow or my bow.
You take aim with the one with the rapier and shoot it with your bow. Absolutely. Make
No,
your attack.
no, sorry. Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
That's 13 against the one with the rapier, you say?
Yes.
13 hits, it impales him. Oh! Ow! Ow!
Oh, damage?
11 damage. He looks down in shock and horror at this arrow that has gone straight underneath his sternum, punctured the lower part of his heart, and has pierced out the back of his spine. He gurgles and drops to the floor. He is dead.
Oh!
As
I
your
just
arrow
one-shot
just
someone?
punches straight through him. Warrin, you see Floreria just firing off this quick arrow, dropping the one bandit. What are you doing?
I'm gonna cast Hex on Bandit 2
All
for
right.
the second one, and run up to him, and God, I'm gonna hit him with my flame hammer. I've had enough today, and I start spinning around that hammer with flame around it, and poof.
Gotcha.
Let's see if that one. Hi, I'm Warren's inner conscience. We're gonna see if we can hit a good old green flame blade.
Make your attack.
One shot. Do it. Do it.
I gotta find it actually. Oh, I'm sorry. That's right. I forgot.
It's under your actions tab.
I just used the one.
There you go. You smack him. Do your damage. Oh!
Okay, so because the hex is going to deal d6, and then the flame itself is going to do. Oh, it's not close enough to his buddy, is it?
His buddy is 5 foot away. The squares are 5 feet.
Okay, so that would hit. All right, so this is going to be 3 fire damage to the buddy next to him.
Bandit number 1.
And
Right you are.
and this one.
He calls out in pain as you slam into him with your warhammer.
Oh, and then 4. It doesn't.
Another 4 damage.
Yeah, from the hex. And I forgot. I'm gonna say perception checks. Disadvantage.
Perception check. Well, his perception check is disadvantaged because as you slam into him, his cudgel just drops limply from his hand, and he crumples with your flame, your golden flame, washing all over him. He is dead. Completely just slammed to the side. He crumples, completely unconscious.
Okay. Try not to kill him. I'm trying to.
Yeah. So that's why I said I realized that you had said it before. So unconscious, he drops to the floor. The first bandit, who has the rusty longsword, sees his 2 companions dropping in the opening salvo, and before he can act, Flint, you were ready for when Warrin made his attack. So you may make your rifle shot.
I was attacking the guy with the cudgel who went down. Is it all right if I?
Right. Yeah, you can shift it over. It doesn't matter. You were ready to fire, is basically. I'll take it. Oh, that's a hit. That's a solid hit. 10 damage. Wow.
10 damage.
You slam the shot. It knocks him clean off of his feet. He gets barreled backwards into the foliage because we use Hollywood gunshot effects here. He lands a good couple feet back in the foliage, and his boots sort of are up for a moment, and then they slump to the side as he expires. There is general silence now coming from everywhere. There is still that bandit, and I'm going to just add him back again because I removed him accidentally. This bandit is unconscious and at Warren's feet. We are out of initiative as you have dispatched these bandits with swiftness, and yes, we're back to we're out of combat. The unconscious bandit is out for the count.
Flint walks up to the bandit and seeing it still alive, he loads his musket and says, "Here, let me get that for you."
"Wait, don't kill the bandit," says a voice. An old man has pulled aside some of the wooden barricade that leads into the Temple of Elysiae, and he is calling for you to stay your hand.
I do.
We're out of combat, so anyone can act. Floreria, what do you do?
I would go up and pick up the rapier from the first bandit that I have, and I would pocket it.
It's a horrid piece of equipment. It's blunt. It hasn't been looked after at all, but you certainly have it.
If I find someone who needs it, I can easily give it to them then.
As punishment. Warren?
I put the hammer. I just
put the hammer down.
I stow the hammer away. And I'm gonna try and tie him with my rope.
Sure. It's easy enough. You pull him over. He's got this great big welt on the side of his head where you smacked him with your hammer. The old man comes forward. "I thank you for sparing him. They are as desperate as we are, and we shouldn't punish them for, well, making the wrong choice. My name is Scroll. That's the only thing I don't like about this system. My name is my name is Anthar, and I read scrolls. I am was, I should say, the curate of the Temple of Elysiae, and as refugees, you are welcome to seek what little sanctuary you can from here, though I fear his kind are bound to return."
So I'd hold up the signet ring from the Duke. I'm like, we've been sent to go help. The castle's under siege, and we're supposed to get reinforcements. We don't really know the whole way or what's happening right now. Do you have any ideas?
We're supposed to try and find our way to Feldun for reinforcements. They suggested we come here first.
Royal, well, a noble quest, absolutely. Well, Feldun, he points to the north road, which you can see stretching off ahead through the swamp. It's about a day's journey through the swamp, but I'm afraid that it's quite a difficult journey. If you don't have someone who knows their way, you might find yourselves in trouble. Are any of you druids or rangers, perhaps?
No, but we were also told that there's the potential of shifters being able to teleport over that way.
Oh, I'm afraid I don't know what those are, but I will ask those that are with us if they might know. Come inside the temple. The bandits have been beaten back, but they might return at any time. He leads you. Sorry, go for it.
Oh, no, I was just saying, thank you, old man. Your hospitality is most kind. Probably the nicest thing people have done since we arrived, instead of demanding that we do a whole bunch of fighting for a fight that ain't ours. So, thank you.
They're desperate.
Look, I don't know about you, but I fell through a hole in a burning wall. So, well, desperate is high on my priority list, too.
Yes. There are quite a few of us here. We're not entirely sure what to do, as a matter of fact. The bandits keep coming, and well, it doesn't look as if Tungay Keep is going to hold out for much longer. So, yes, we pray for guidance from Elysiae. He leads you inside the temple. What are you doing with the bandit, by the way?
Flint will basically drag him by the binds that Warrin tied, just lifting him to his feet and just sort of dragging him forward with his feet on the ground, but his upper body being supported.
What? Okay.
Well, what?
Maybe...
You want to leave him here and let him get by a gator?
No, but...
I mean, I got a bullet if that's the way you want to go. I mean, this is much quicker.
Maybe we could leave a message or something. Maybe it'll be like a keep out.
Yeah, if you don't show up, we'll knock you out. I mean, look, it's called a deterrent. If you want to deter something, you kill him, right? No one wants to be everyone wants to be knocked unconscious. No one wants to be dead.
But that's also murder, Flint.
Look, self-defense is a very wobbly
It's not self-defense when he's unconscious. He can't harm you. He's bound hand and foot. It's no longer self-defense. It's murder.
Yeah.
All right.
Yes.
So, what are you doing then, Freddie? What is Warrin allowing Flint to do?
Yeah, I'll let him take him, but don't kill him. And I'm gonna go to the temple.
The priest listens to this interplay and then looks both at you, Freddie, and at you, Kai. Are you worshippers of Elysiae? That was very wise insight that you gave your ironclad friend, Flint.
No, I didn't do good by Delu today. I should have talked to them. I'm just so angry. I thought they might have hurt some kids, and
you will see. They certainly have, I'm afraid. War does not spare you, no matter what your age. This way. he leads you deeper into the temple. I'm going to bring the map up here, although we're not in combat, and that bandit is definitely unconscious. The temple itself, as you step in, there's a corridor directly in front of you. All the bracken and foliage has grown over it, as you can see on the map. But there is also several doorways which ordinarily would have let in a lot of light into the main chamber itself, and he leads you eventually into the main sphere of the church itself, or the temple I should say, and you can see that it originally would have been quite spectacular. This large circular space with great columns. You can see the columns all around that reach up to support the domed ceiling, and in the ceiling itself are these rather beautiful murals. The murals themselves, paintings of the god Alyssii, bestowing her knowledge onto her followers, would have been quite beautiful in the old days. Now, of course, it's cracked and painted and cracked and overgrown, and some of the ceiling has collapsed. In the center of the chamber, you can see the pews that once used to be used for the congregation, dragged into a defensive wooden sort of stockade or corral, if you like, and inside of it probably 20 to 25 people, all staring at you, holding various makeshift tools of war. There's a pitchfork that looks like there's a plank. Someone's holding the arm of a statue as a defensive club. And right in amongst all of that, you can see the faces of dozens of kids also looking wide-eyed at these new strangers as you are brought into the temple. As you come in, one of the characters, a man who has sort of slick-backed hair, stands up. Who are you and what are you doing here? I don't think it was a good idea, Anthar, bringing in strangers. They might work with the bandits after all.
I'd hold up the ring.
Oh, and I'll drop the bandit at this dude's feet.
Well, it could be a clever ruse. Maybe this is they're trying to pretend that they're against the bandits. Maybe this bandit is going to wake up all of a sudden and he'll have all of the... Well, you haven't even taken their weapons away, Anthar. You're supposed to be protecting us, not bringing death and destruction into our midst.
You're a paranoid fellow, aren't you?
Oh... Venderak may seem paranoid, and, he says, turning to the man identified as Venderak, I assure you, I saw them defeat the bandits with my own hands. There are 2 bodies outside if you want to go and have a look for yourself. You would like that, wouldn't you? Lure me outside so that I can get taken by your cronies, maybe a hostage or something. I don't like it. I don't like it, he says as he sort of pushes his way back into the rest of the stockade.
Are there any injured in here?
All their hands go up. You can see there's cuts, there's scrapes, there's several individuals. They sort of point where the altar once was. There are several sleeping bags or rags and things that have been gathered together, and about 6 men and women, various ages, are lying in very bad shape, badly beaten, badly wounded, and for the most part unconscious.
I'm gonna make my way over to the altar to see who. I'm gonna see who I might be able to save.
Right. This rather portly woman comes over to you, Warrin, and she places a hand on your shoulder. You look too young to be wearing all of that armour, young man. Don't you want to come and join the rest to take your load off? This isn't something that the children should bear.
No, ma'am. I'm a paladin of Delu, and I'm here to help as much as I can.
Right, you are. Paladin of Delu, you say?
He's really nice.
Oh, I bet he is. Still, we've got some broth going. Would you like some? Keep your spirits up.
Maybe later.
And
I gotta do something for and just gonna like look over at like where Laura was going. Just like, I gotta see if I can help.
and what about your friend Delu? Would he like some soup? She says, looking at a blank space right next to you.
Oh, no, he's not from here. He sent me here to do some good, I think, and to help me with my own quest. I'm gonna find my mom and sister and bring them back home.
Oh, I see. Well, good luck with that, son. Good luck with that. The moment she sort of hears your story, she's obviously misinterpreting completely. She has no idea what your backstory is. So, yeah, she kind of gives you a pat, and then she just breaks into a full-on hug and just gives you this great big motherly hug. Do you resist?
No, it's kind of there, much like a thanks.
All right, Flint, what are you doing while this is going on?
Seeing the Warrin getting embraced and obviously Floreria looking to attend to the injured, Flint will sort of take a look around. Looking at the map here, I noticed that there are these kind of like almost window-looking positions. Are they boarded up?
So each of those, definitely they are windows. You are quite correct. Most of the windows are these large lead-lined stained glass affairs. Some of them are still intact. Some of them have been blown out. Most of them have got bits of boarding against the lower half, but because this is it's a triple volume space, the higher up parts of the windows are still cracked and letting in the cold draft and the like. Yeah, so most of them are, as you say, boarded up. There is a figure who's leaning up against one of the walls. He watches as you come over, sort of examining the glass. And what are you then, if you don't mind me asking? He says as he gives you a look up and down.
Without turning to face him, still inspecting the glass and figuring out if there's a way to actually seal it off so we can at least keep the heat in, Flint says, I'm complicated. Tell me, how long have you folk been in here?
Well, some of us have been here for about a week since the city fell. Others have been here for a few months since the Clackdoor first arrived. We can't make it across the swamp. The only guide is refusing to take us. So we're kind of stuck here, prisoners, if you like, out of the frying pan and into the swamp in this case.
Who's your guide, sorry.
He points to this wretched-looking man. You realize he actually isn't even a man. He's a satyr, and he sits covered in blankets, looking incredibly miserable. So, whilst he is not willing to move us, we're not going anywhere. But back to you, friend. You don't appear to be wearing armor. You appear to be armor. Is there a gnome inside of you, operating the gears of this machine before my eyes?
As he says that, even implying that there is a gnome inside of him, Flint turns for the first time with a very emotionless face, but moving with a certain aggression into his body, turns his body to face this individual, making very little room for personal space. And he says, it's complicated. I'm gonna go talk to your god, but if I were you, I'd keep this being afraid of other folk thing going strong. You never know who you might end up ticking off and how many holes may ventilate your body should you say the wrong thing. And I'll sort of tip my hat and say, now if you excuse me. And intentionally sort of brush against his shoulder as I push past him.
Well, he says as you move past. Falor, you arrive at the injured individuals. Most of them look as if they've been badly beaten. There's a few, it looks like stab wounds from daggers and the like, and all of them look to be in a very bad state.
Are there any that are gonna like literally expire soon, or it just looks like they're gonna have a really rough couple of nights?
There's one lady who looks as if she is definitely going to die, probably in the next 24 hours. She has a high fever. She's got an infection from the blade that has obviously pierced her belly area, and she definitely does not look to be too good. The other 5. The swamp is not ideal. There is that sort of murky humidity to the air. Their wounds have not been cleaned. They're not in a good space.
Do I see this?
Oh yeah, after the hug, the mother kind of pats you on the back and goes off to the soup cauldron. But yes, you certainly see Falor looking over these wretched people.
I'm gonna cure one of their diseases. I'll spend 5 lay on hands.
All right. You go over. You sort of look at the 6 of them. Yeah, you cure disease. The spell ripples out. The golden energy washes over the woman, and a little bit of life seems to return to her cheeks. Her fever is certainly broken. As a result, the infection of the wound seems to have gone down. The wound will slowly start to heal now, but she has still also lost a lot of hit points from damage.
And then cure wounds.
Boom, bam, thank you, ma'am. Get you right.
I don't have much. Okay, guy. If we really want to try this, I can technically get my spells back after a short rest. If I just do short rest for the whole night, can I just start healing people
Absolutely.
with one
You can
spell?
start. You can start to do that. Floreria, what are you doing medical wise to these
I would beckon the cleric over. I'm like, is there anyone who actually has any medicinal abilities here?
He shuffles over. He looks at the two of you. I'm afraid I myself never actually participated in official training. I actually just used to help at the temple. I'm ashamed to say it, I actually used to just be the groundskeeper, but when the war broke out, the clerics were all summoned to the castle. None of them returned, so I've sort of taken over. I'm glad that you've managed to help them out. Bethany, she was a fighter, and that is why the bandits did to her what they did. She really shouldn't have. As a matter of fact, she brought it on herself. I told her not to resist, but she's a stubborn one. Whatever help you can offer them, we will be grateful.
So is there, besides Bethany, who's now been taken care of by Warrin, is there anyone else that's looking really like dire, or that for the most part they look like if you do like basic medicinal skills, it'll be okay?
Yeah, that's the other 5. And the rest of the group, as you sort of look around, they have minor cuts, scrapes, and scratches. They don't look as if they've been too badly shaken up. Just muddy and possibly underfed. There is a campfire in the middle of the temple floor with a pot over it, but the pot is definitely not full by any means.
So I think that the best bet is probably getting these people to somewhere else so they can get the assistance and everything they need. So I'm going to make my way over to the satyr. And satyrs, can I do like a nature check or something? Aren't they supposed to be like very jovial and bright and love music and things like that?
Sure. Give me a nature check.
This one has a thorn in its hoof and is very upset.
13.
Yeah, satyrs generally are supposed to be, as you say, light-hearted, but I suppose they can get depressed. But this one looks He looks emaciated. He looks broken more than anything else. Flint, you were heading over to him already. You arrive. He doesn't even look up. He's just staring blankly ahead at the statue of Alicia. Her statue was toppled because of some action or other, and the head is sort of snapped from the neck. He's just staring straight into the marble eyes of the statue. They blindly stare back at him.
Now, Flint's never had experience with any kind of magical beast or anything like that, so for him, this dude just looks like a mutant from the wasteland, because he's got like the goat legs and stuff like that. So he says, so how long?
He says,
how long? Yeah, he points at the legs. How long have you been afflicted?
Oh, all the nerve.
I'd be like, whoa, flip, whoa.
What?
He's born that way, like you are.
Oh, I'm so sorry. I didn't realize.
Why should you be sorry? I am Satyr.
I would quickly dig out my harp, my lute, and I probably would start playing a very jovial tune that I probably would have learned, because I actually learned a lot of music from all over the world because Vera used to bring them back. So I start playing one about like all the joys and wonderful things of the world, and like rising from the ashes and being conquerors. I'm just gonna start playing like a bunch of shit to try to lift his spirits.
Flint is incredibly confused as to why in the middle of a conversation she's pulled out this lute and started singing.
It does seem a bizarre activity. And as you strike that first chord, there is a tremendous explosion that comes from the east. And the entire chamber is lit up with this golden glow. As you sort of all look out at the various windows and things, there is a tremendous blast of fire where Tungay Keep is, and you can see the main tower that you actually materialize in front of. You can see that tower crumbling and crashing down as it's been blasted by obviously one of these fiery attacks. And that's where we're going to take a break. We'll be back very shortly. If you're on YouTube, remember to like, subscribe, and hit that goblin bell. Part 2 continues straight after this.